Welcome to the series where I show young men how to get into cooking without following the conventional cooking guidelines, okay? So you will learn how to make something delicious without having any specific skill or ability. Like I'm not a chef, by the way. I'm not a professional. I think I will never be. But I found a way to make food taste good, okay? Extremely good, and I want to share it with the world. So the way I found to make food taste good relies in the pleasure hypothesis. So the pleasure hypothesis is composed of two domains: the physical domain, which is this, and the mental domain. So the physical domain is simply the 6 pillars that make your food taste good when intensified enough, okay? So when there is enough of the 6 pillars, maybe like even 3 pillars, these pillars are salt, fat, umami, acidity, sweetness, and digestibility, okay? When you have like strong enough of these pillars, maybe even just 3, but they are strong enough, you will love your food, okay? So let's go over the umami part. Let's choose the ingredients, okay? Meanwhile, like you will also learn how I cook, which is a very stress-free cooking, okay? I don't like to, what the fuck are the zucchinis? I bought them just now. I was saying like, I'm not only cooking something delicious without any skill, I'm also cooking it in an efficient way, in a convenient way, so like easy to prepare and also without creating any mess in the kitchen that you will later on have to clean up, okay? I don't like that shit, so I will avoid that. So first of all, let's explain the pleasure part. So the pleasure in this meal will be given by umami, fat, salt, acidity, sweetness, and not really digestibility. I will not include today digestibility. Digestibility, by the way, is the speed, like how fast do you digest something, okay? Think about McDonald's. McDonald's is something that is immediately digested, okay? Like you absorb those nutrients immediately. Think about bread. Bread is like immediately absorbed, okay? The same goes for pasta and rice. Like most refined grains are easily digestible. Think about pizza. Pizza though, like most of the famous, like worldwide known recipes are just those pillars. Like it's just like the representation of those pillars. The way I found this hypothesis was through analyzing the junk food and analyzing like the best worldwide recipes. And they all had these things in common, which is saltiness, the fattiness, the umami content, okay, very underrated umami, and the digestibility is something I've heard no one talk about, but I feel like it is one of the most important pillars, okay, one of the most satisfying pillars. You will not like pizza if it wasn't like made of refined carbs under it. Like it is way like the satisfying part of the pizza. Yes, it is the acidity from the tomatoes, the sweetness, the umami, the fattiness, the saltiness, but most importantly, digestibility, okay? Think about a slice of bread with some olive oil in it, with some, actually, I'm taking a cutting board. I always like to show people that you can do most of the cooking without even using cutting boards or equipment, not even this knife. This knife usually would have been great to cut zucchini. I will show you a way you can also do this without needing to pull out any cutting board, which I always find annoying, okay? Call me wrong, but I don't like to use cutting boards or any special equipment to cook my food, okay? I'm very minimalistic in this sense. I call this convenience. Many will call this laziness. Many others will call this straight out madness. I don't care, I will do it anyway. This is how I cook, and if you want to get started with cooking, I don't really advise to stress too much over how to do things, because it will only slow you down and will only impede you to start cooking, which is the most important part of this video. My aim with this video is to get the people that are not into cooking, because cooking, like in cooking, relies a strong, very strong power, which is the fact that you can cook something yourself, and we all know that home-cooked meals are way superior than junk food, like packaged food, okay? And many times also more delicious. Alright, so I will add some butter. Like this is clarified butter, by the way, so this is not normal butter, it is clarified butter. And this will satisfy this butter. You can, but by the way, you can also use olive oil. Just don't use seed oils, they are the bad ones, okay? They are the things that I am trying to avoid when I take junk food, okay? In junk food there is seed oils, and there is also some other fucked up ingredient like some preservatives, some, you know, those molecules to fucking like give the color, those colorants, right? Is it the, I don't know, the color, like the red 40 or the sugar, okay? All of this stuff. I don't want that into my cooked meals, so I will not use seed oils. But you can absolutely use something like olive oil, okay? Butter, lard, like animal fat is fine, okay? Olive oil is completely fine. That's the OG olive oil. So yeah, just use that, and that is going to satisfy one pillar, okay, which is the fat pillar, okay. We will later add salt. Actually, we can add this now. And you know why I added the meat? I added the meat because the meat is umami, okay? The meat is like the original like way of having umami in your meal. We only consumed back then we only consumed meat, and the reason we like meat in general is because it has a lot of umami, and that is what like if you have ever seen or eaten a vegan burger, okay? I have, and they're very umami, okay? They're trying to replicate what meat have, and many times they are also can they can like surpass meat in the umami sense. They can make their meat more savory, okay? Because one thing you have to understand is that umami is not only found in meat, it is also found in vegetables, and they can easily replicate the umami that is in meat in vegan burgers, okay, vegetarian burgers and such. So cooking meat in fat especially will enable the meat to brown, okay? Browning the meat is a key component to have the umami perception skyrocket, okay? If you brown the meat, you will basically have more umami to your disposal, and also more sweetness, also more digestibility, because when you cook meat, it becomes more digestible, it becomes more bioavailable, okay? You digest it faster, and it is something that our body likes, okay? So by browning the meat, you will basically increase some of the digestibility, some of the sweetness, because we'll caramelize the meat, and some of the umami, okay? If you want to increase the umami even more, which I want to, because like umami is fucking delicious, it's the best part of eating, like the savoriness. If you don't know what like umami is, I left a link in the description which is basically a database of umami foods, okay? You can go check on that, and you will understand instantly what umami is, but it is basically the savoriness. So one way you can increase the umami perception is by adding some vegetables. Usually, there are many vegetables, and for example, tomatoes increase. In fact, I will add tomatoes now that I think about it. But tomatoes will increase the umami perception even more than some other vegetables. But that is another thing. So we'll add some zucchini because I want to increase the umami and also the sweetness. Zucchini are a bit sweet, so we'll add I will add it for sweetness. And I wanna get into an important point. So usually, for demonstration purposes, I will just take the zucchinis and cut them immediately together with the meat into the pan, okay? I usually do this to show you guys that you can like cook in a very mindless way by adding everything together, like if you were in a video game, okay? My inspiration from cooking started from a video game that basically involved the cooking by, you know, just uniting things together and you had a final product. And that was the sum of the different ingredients you chose. And you can absolutely do this in real life. That is how I started cooking, and this is how everybody, I think, should get at least into cooking. If you're not into cooking, you can also do that, meaning as soon as I put the meat, I can also put the zucchini, and people will say, oh, but it will overcook, they will whatnot. Bro, it's gonna be good anyway. You will still enjoy the meal, even if this is a little bit overcooked, but again, it is not going to be that bad. Like worst case scenario, you will have some melted zucchini in your meal, which is totally delicious anyway, okay? You are still getting the sweetness from the zucchini, the flavors, you are still gonna get the same stuff. So don't stress too much over the timing, the ingredient insertion and such, okay? Yeah, so today though I will try to demonstrate you the conventional method. I usually do unconventional, but today I will do a bit conventional, meaning I will add the zucchini right at the end. So once like everything is kind of cooked, and I will add the zucchini that will cook quite fast. Well, not at the end, like kind of at the end, and they will cook faster than the meat, for example. Alright, so meat is browning, and I will add some salt. So I want you to notice that there is still a lot of water that is being released from the meat. This water is preventing the meat to reach the right temperatures to have the Maillard reaction, okay? It's preventing the meat, okay, this water that you see, is preventing the meat to reach the temperature necessary to have the browning happening, okay? They will not brown this way. So yeah, I will just have to let the water evaporate until there is only the fat, and the fat will be like a good heat conductor to the meat. It will basically, this is the pan and this is the meat, and if there is some oil in between, it will be like evenly spread heat, and we want that. So I will leave the water escape until there is only fat. And yeah, once there is only fat, the meat will start to brown. At the moment it is not really browning, if you notice. Okay, meanwhile the water escapes. We can fix the kitchen so we can throw away the trash, and we can put the batter back into the fridge and all of this stuff. This way we don't have to do it later, and we are doing the work now to save time later. So let's put the batter back. Actually, you know what? I will keep this here in case I want to use it again. But that is pretty much it, you know. I'm throwing away the trash. Is this good? What the fuck is this? This is like the flour from the zucchini. I will use it. Alright, so trash away, and the water is still evaporating, but you see like the liquid there, it's like mix of water and fat. You can see that more fat is starting to accumulate and less water is being there. So I'm just waiting for all the water. Actually, you know what? This is almost 100% fat. So it will start to brown. Yeah, it is starting to brown if you notice. So if you remember, I just told you that there was a conventional way and an unconventional way. So the conventional way, which is the thing I'm doing right now, requires the meat to brown first and then to add the vegetables. And there is a good reason for that, okay? So if you add the vegetables right now, they will release so much water that they will prevent the meat to brown. So if you let the meat brown first and then you add the vegetables, you basically get all of the benefits from the browning, so the umami and the sweetness and the digestibility, and then you add the sweetness from the zucchini without interrupting the process of the meat browning. So this is why you maybe want to add it later on after the meat is browned. So now it is purely fat. You see this yellow liquid? This is purely fat. And the meat now is starting to brown for real. I like to use stainless steel pans because as you will soon see in the bottom, like look, it is starting already now. This like brown layer will create. This brown layer is extremely delicious. Okay, it's the browning part of the meat. And I will show you a trick you can do to take the brown stuff and put it back into the food. Alright, so it has browned and there is this like kind of brown bottom in the pan, okay? This is called fond. And you know how we will get this fond back into the food. And by the way, I could let this brown even more, but I feel like this is enough. I don't want to like let this brown too much, because like I know that if you let it brown too much, there is something going on with the like health stuff, like advanced end product glycation or something like that. So I will, I think this is enough. I will take like a tomato paste and I will add it, okay? So, a lot of sound now, because the water is evaporating, so we have a lot of sound. But look at that, look at the brown bottom. I literally absorbed it by placing some water, some liquid, okay? In this case, the liquid is tomato. And you know what we are doing with tomato? We are also enabling that, you know, that cool reaction between meat and vegetables that will increase the umami perception. If you check the link in the description about the database, you will get a clearer picture. But just know that if you mix meat with tomato, it will be way more savory, okay? So we have basically absorbed all of the browning that was in the bottom. And yeah, like we absorbed a lot of flavor. A lot of, not flavor, I don't like to use the word flavor. Taste is more correct, the peelers, okay? We absorbed more umami, more sweetness and all of that stuff. So this is way better than before. If I taste it now and I do a comparison from before, this will be more tasty because I included the nucleotides that will basically bind to the glutamate, which is the particle of umami, and will enhance the umami perception. So let's try. Wow, extremely savory. Holy shit! Wow. Yeah, very, very, very savory. So let's add our zucchini now. We can do it now. We can do it later. You can let some of the water evaporate, but to be honest, I will cut it now. And I will not use a cutting board, okay? I will use my hands, a knife, and the cutting board of the air, okay? So I will split this like kind of in half, and then I will slowly, okay? You don't have to rush this, like there is no one chasing you. You can slowly cut this like this, and drop the zucchini into this kind of meat, tomato sauce. The finer you cut them, the quicker they will cook. But to be honest, if you notice, I'm not really caring about the size. Sometimes I cut them larger like this. Sometimes I cut them like smaller like this. Look, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Okay, I don't really care. So you cut them however you want. So while I cut the zucchini, I want you to remember that there is not only umami, okay, and fat and salt to be taken care of. There is also acidity. Okay, I didn't yet mention acidity, but you can absolutely add acidity right now with some vinegar, maybe with some pickle juice, with some fermented food, with some lemon juice, okay? I think I will go for the lemon juice because I took out of the fridge a piece of lemon there, and you can add it now, you can add it at the end. There is not that big of a difference, and yeah, you can add acidity, and that will make your food taste better. And by the way, there is always a bliss point. Like for everybody, there is a personal like boundary that is not better to be crossed. For example, I am very tolerant with I like umami, okay? The more umami, the better usually. But there are some people that, for example, acidity, they don't like very acidic food. I like acidic food. Maybe you like it like less acidic than me. So there is always a bliss point for, depending on the person, depending on the age. There was a study made like for kids, like vanilla pudding was better liked at 30 grams of sugar per 100 grams of pudding, while for adults they preferred it with like 15 grams of sugar. So there is like kind of a bliss point that will basically state how much of each of these pillar you will like and how much you will not like, okay? So this is going to depend on you, but usually the more you raise it, the more you will like it, so don't be afraid of to raise them. So let's put this back into the heat, and let's start heating it again. Turn off. So let's turn it on. Maybe there were too many zucchinis. Yeah, I think there were too many, but no, I mean, this is the thing. You don't have to care about proportions. There is no right proportions. You just have to eat your food, and this is one way you can eat zucchini and meat, okay? Just cook them together. It's very simple. Start cooking right now, bro, if you didn't understand. It's so easy, like just take ingredients, put them together into a pot, cook them if they need to cook. Like if you're doing something that I like to call salad, okay? For me there is two extremes. There is a fully cooked meal like this. There is also a salad, which means uniting raw ingredients together, like for example beans or some other like tuna, I don't know, like raw ingredients together. That can also work. So there is one more trick I want to show you, and that is that, for example, in this case, it will take a bit of time to cook for the zucchini. If I wanted to speed the process up, I can do this. I can take a lid and cover it. This will enable the pan to become kind of a semi-oven, okay? And it will keep the heat in. It will also keep the moisture, the vapor, the steam into the pot, and it will help cook the food, even this top part. Usually this will not cook very easily if we left the lid open, because this part of food is not touching the bottom, which is hot. By doing this, we're enabling also the things on the top part to be cooked. So this will be a little bit quicker. So we'll keep the lid on to let it cook faster. Meanwhile, we can also throw this motherfucker in. I don't know what this is, but I think it's good. I usually see this fried. So meanwhile, you can also throw away the trash, put back the tomato paste. And I want you to notice, if you skip to the beginning of the video, you will see that I didn't create that much of a like a mess in the kitchen, okay? I will have to clean just the pan and the spatula, okay? The rest of the table, of the cooking like surface, is kind of the same as before, okay? So that is also one trait I like to put in my videos to give more value to you guys. So you get not only tasty food, not only healthy food, but also less time spent cleaning stuff. So now that this is covered and there is like water escaping of the vegetables, I can go away, okay? Remember, as long as there is water into the pot, you can go away and do your own things. You don't need to check on it every time, because if there is water, your food will not burn, will not brown, will not do anything, okay? So water is safe. Think about boiling. You cannot burn things in boiling water, okay? Because like it's water. It only reaches 100 degrees Celsius. It cannot go over 100 degrees Celsius. Like it's physically impossible unless you are like on Mars or some other planet, okay? And by the way, this can also be used. This technique can also be used to reheat a meal, like a leftover meal that maybe your mom made. Maybe you come back from school and your mother made some meal that she left to you. My mother often did this, like she prepared something and she will leave it into the fridge, on the table or anything. A good thing I found I could do is take a pot, pour the food into the pot, put a little like a splash of water to not basically let the food burn, because like at the beginning, if there is not enough water releasing from the food, it is easier to have a little bit of water put into the pan directly. So we'll basically take the food into the pot, a little bit of water, cover it with a lid, and let it reheat slowly, and that will be like as flavorful as the beginning product, okay? It will be as tasty as before. It will be kind of fresh, quote unquote fresh, and you will also create a kind of kind of a tasty sauce. Okay, it takes the peelers from the meal, that it will make a kind of a sauce with the water that you just added, and yeah, you will have your reheated meal that your mother made, and you can eat that, and it's gonna be delicious. So I will let this cook for a little bit. Let's give it a stir just now. I'm gonna show you how the water is escaping, as you saw. And I want to show you, nothing is burning, because again, there is water. You cannot burn stuff in water, okay? So that's the last time as well, this is the last time I'm saying that. So, stir it a little bit, cover it with a lid, and let it cook for a few minutes, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't fucking know. As long as it takes, we will wait. So let's go do our things, and yeah, let's check on it after a bit. Alright, so, if you check this, it's kind of ready. I mean, as you see, a lot of time passed and there is not any sign of burning, because we had the lid on. Okay, the lid on is like the lid will prevent your food from burning. Okay, so the zucchini are kind of soft now. If you can see, yeah, you see it is breaking down very easily. They're good. There is not a specific time to cook vegetables or anything actually. There is just your intuition and your liking. This can be cooked more if you want. This can also be eaten raw. Like, there is not that much of a difference. You decide yourself. So I think this is ready enough. I will take a plate and I can eat it like this, okay? So if you want some bread with it, if you want some pasta or some other shit, you can go ahead and do that. I'm experimenting with a lower carb diet, so I will not. But I mean, if you want, it is still better than junk food, okay? If you want to eat some carbohydrates, it is still better than junk food in my opinion. So let's drop some of these in. Bam. And this is a meal, okay? I will leave this for my mother, because I'm also cooking for her today. But for example, if this is not enough, you have to eat more. You are bulking, totally fine. I totally get you. First of all, you can take some olive oil, sprinkle that in. Second of all, you can make a few eggs. Now we'll make a few eggs. So let me empty the pan, and then I will use this same pan. And by the way, I can also keep some of the meat in it. It doesn't really change much if you're gonna cook some eggs in it. I'm gonna have scrambled eggs anyway, so I can absolutely keep some of this like meat stuff inside, because it's gonna cook with the eggs together, and it's gonna be a bit more flavorful. Okay, so let's take the eggs. And by the way, you're bulking, you have to eat even more. Take some heavy cream and add it to the eggs. It's gonna be more calorie dense if you want. And if you're not on a bulk, you're on a cut, well, just don't eat that and eat more meat, eat more eggs. They are less calorie dense. So let's break some eggs. 1 and 4. Nice. So we are gonna cook 4 eggs. You can add some salt, some acidity, as always. If you want to make your eggs taste better, you can consider adding the 6 pillars, which simply are salt, fat, umami. There is not much fat here, so we'll add it by itself. Oh, is it turned off? Let's turn it on. Alright, so let's add some fat. You can add some salt, and you can add some acidity. I forgot actually to add acidity into this meal, so we'll add it right now with the lemon. And by the way, that lemon seems really small to me, so I think I will have to add a bit more acidity in some other way. So fat is done for the eggs. I should add maybe some salt, but this is salty enough, I feel like. Let me taste it. I have not yet tasted it. Yeah, no, this is quite salty on itself. So I will not add that much salt to that, because it's gonna balance out this. Speaking of balancing out salt, and I don't know, like there is maybe some science behind like acidity and saltiness. You can like they can balance out each other. I just know that if I'm gonna take some yogurt, okay. And by the way, I made this. I have a special like method to make yogurt, which you can find in the description. If I add some yogurt, I will basically literally dilute. I will literally dilute the concentration of salt, so it will be less salty. So I will add some. Fuck. Well, I mean, this will do, I guess. I will take some of this and put it back into the plate. All right. Yeah. See me, professional cooking. Well, I mean, we have enough probiotics for today, so let's stir the eggs a little bit now. All right, so let's scramble the eggs. I think they're done. And we can drop them into the plate, which is flooded with yogurt, but that's a side point. There's a food, probably it is a bulking size meal. But yeah, it's very nutritious, very healthy, very easy to do. I mean, I didn't follow any recipe, and let's see how it tastes. Okay, before checking how it tastes, I want to clean up these mess, take a few paper towels, and this may seem like a huge mistake, but it is actually harmless. So let's just take a paper towel and take this away, bam. Let's take a second one, same thing, bam, as new as before. And before I forget, I wanna add the lemon into this, okay? I will put this back into the fridge, by the way, so I don't do any more yogurt flooding. So the lemon is gonna add some acidity. As we all know, acidity is one of the pillars, so we'll add some acidity. Bam. On top of the meat. Also the yogurt, actually now that I think about it, also the yogurt is acidic, so I think I will not have to add any more acidity, because the yogurt is a little bit acidic and the lemon is acidic. So this will do. I'll put this also here. Bam. And we just prepared ourselves a delicious meal. Let's set this up onto the table. Let's turn on the lights. They're turned on. We can throw away the trash and enjoy our meal. And by the way, to have the convenience of cleaning, remember to put some water as soon as you cook eggs, especially. Eggs are really, oh fuck, there is the fan on. Eggs are really hard to clean off a pan if they kind of harden. So I really advise you to add some water as soon as you finish cooking, okay? As soon as you finish using the pan. So let's try this thing. I'm very curious to see how it tastes. Yeah, very delicious, especially because it is very umami. I'm 100% sure that if I added some digestibility, some bread, some rice, some refined carbs, it would have been absolutely top tier. But I can also go without it. So yeah, that's kind of it. Take a bite. Oh, and by the way, if you want to simplify a recipe, like an existing recipe, which is a great place to start if you want to start cooking, and there is a recipe you want to make simple, like you want to simplify a recipe, you can click the link in the description. There is a link. I have a recipe optimizer service, and that's it. Bye.
Thank you.